Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Mike here, the FPV Evil Monkey. Today I'm going to be doing a new Tiny Whoop build. I'm going to be building another Quicksilver build. I'm going to obviously be using the Crazybee F4 Pro V2 board with the FR Sky built in. So I like this board a lot, and it works really good with Quicksilver. Had really good results with it. For my camera VTX combo, I'm using the Caddx Firefly. Used to use the Turbo Wing, but they don't sell it anymore, so I had to switch over to this little guy. And then for my frame, I'm using the Meteor 65. I'm using the Happy Model 0802 16000 kV with the Gemfan 4 blades. Those are my favorite blades and pretty much my favorite setup. This is actually a frame and motors from a different build. It was the Beta FPV silverware board, so I just took that off. I'm actually going to be using that on another project. But anyway, guys, so here it is. So first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my soldering iron hot. I'm going to go ahead and tin up everything that I need on the board to use, mainly video in, video out. I don't like to use smart audio just because it's got the little lights and everything that I need, and I can always trust this. So smart audio doesn't always work perfectly. Let me get my soldering all fired up, and I'll be right back. Alright, so here we go. So we've got our ground and positive, and I'm going to go ahead and tin up the pad really quick here. Again, I am not a soldering expert by any means whatsoever, but I think my soldering gets the job done most of the time. I do really hate these tiny pads. There we go, I got a nice little blob on there. And a little bit on there. That's the only thing I don't like about this board, is that ground is like right there next to the USB, but oh well, what are you gonna do, huh? Okay, so apologize if you guys can't see the soldering all that well. It's really difficult to solder and film at the same time, so just have to do. Alright, these wires are already pre-tinned out of the package, so all I have to do is just hit it a little bit, make sure it's on there. Okay, I don't think they put enough solder on the wires, so I'm going to add a little bit more. There we go. Okay, and a little bit over here. Alright, there we go. Okay. Now this wire should stick. I really do hate soldering these small components. My hands always shake, so. And this ground pad is like right next to the USB. And like I said, I really don't like that. There we go. And positive. Alright, give it a real good tug. Make sure on there. There we go. Okay, perfect. Let me get a tiny whip battery real quick, and then we'll test it out. Okay, make sure no smoke. Yep, we're good. We got lights. All right, so we're good. Sweet. All right, so now I'm gonna tin up these pads here. So I need one for a video in and one for a video out. So this one's the, you can't see it, but there's ground, 5-volt, video in, video out. And then there's also a TX if you want to solder something in there. So I've had this soldering iron forever. All right, here we go. Okay, so those two look like they're soldered up. Alright, so now what I have to do is I have to put a little solder on my VTX for the video in and video out. So that way obviously I can control all my PIDs and everything like that. That's one thing that's really nice about Quicksilver is you can do everything right through the OSD. Everything, which is nice. Only thing I don't like about these as usual is the tiny frickin' connectors. So alright, actually I gotta put a little bit of solder on those. There's the one. Okay, good enough. Turn down my soldering iron just a bit, it's a little too hot. Okay, so this first one is video in, and I'm just going to use the yellow one so I know which one's in and which one is out. There we go. Okay, and we'll use this. Actually, sorry, the yellow's video out, this one's video in. It's hard to read the stupid little writing on the VTX. Alright. I really hate these small connectors. Alright guys, let me finish this up real quick. Alright guys, so I finally got the VTX wired up. It took a couple tries, but I got it. Alright, so now let's wire this to our board itself. So we'll do the ground for the VTX first, and then we'll do the power, and then we'll do the video in, and we'll do the video out. Let me swing this around so I can see. little tug, make sure it's good. And give our VTX some power. Give a little tug, make sure we're good. Okay, let me grab my magnifying glass so I can see the tiny writing on the VTX. Okay, so my yellow is going to be video out. Okay. Alright, and last but not least, a video in. There we go. All nice and soldered up, give it a tug. Okay, so now let's put the soldering iron down for a second here. Let's plug this in, cross our fingers. Hope no magic smoke. We should get some lights on here, and should we get some lights on here? And bingo, we got power and power. Sweet. So now, really quick, guys, I'm going to grab my goggles, and I just want to make sure that I get good video. Okay, so let's plug it in. And let's make sure we got video. Video, and let's face it. Okay, good. Alright, and I've got OSD and everything on there. Sweet. Alright, perfect. Okay, so now let's go ahead and unplug our power. I'm gonna unplug my soldering iron so it doesn't burn up. Clean the tip. I've had this thing forever, but it's a good soldering iron. Probably need to get some new tips. Set it over here so nobody burns themselves. Okay, so now we have to program this to work with Quicksilver. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this into my USB. So go ahead and plug in my flight controller, and let's go ahead and let it connect. And we're going to do flash. And we are going to reset this guy. Okay. So I might have to manually put this in boot mode here. Okay, should be in boot mode. There it is, it found it. Okay, and I'm going to use the target. So it's going to be the Crazybee F4 FR Sky. So I'm going to go ahead and flash it. It's really super easy. Wait for it to finish. And then once it's done, I already have a profile that's set up. So all I have to do is apply my profile that I like. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and connect. I am going to load my profile. Apply it. Alright, good. Now let's go to the setup. Just want to calibrate my gyro. Make sure it's good. Okay. And props out like usual. Everything is active like I like on my... Alright, cool. Alright, so now we're done with Quicksilver. It's literally that easy for Quicksilver. Okay, so now that I've gotten that part done, so now we gotta apply the rubber grommets to the flight controller. And this is always the fun part when you're building a tiny whoop, is trying to get these grommets to stay and go into the frame at the same time. This is always the part I hate. Okay, so let's turn my frame around. I'm gonna go ahead and slip my battery connector down there. See, one already fell off. Usually if I can get at least one or two on there, then I can always like lift the board a little bit and push the other ones down. So, alright, come on. Gotta move this wire just a bit for the positive and negative for the battery connector. There we go. Maybe I can get it on the first shot. Probably not. Okay. Rubber grommet came up on this side. Again, this is the part I hate. At least if I can just lift this up just a little bit and get the grommet back on there. Alright, let me work on this for a second, guys. Okay, as you can see, I got it down there. It took me a couple times, but I got it. Alright, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of tidy up these wires a little bit here. Just going to kind of wrap them around so that way they're all nice and cozy in there. Alright. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of my 3D printed mounts. This was designed specifically for the Firefly, so you can find these on Thingiverse. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put two of these guys. Grab one on the back and one on the front, because I don't use that's not the right one. Where is it? There he is. Okay. Okay, so as I was saying, I'm going to put a screw here and a screw here, just because when I attach the canopy and everything like that, I don't use the front and the back, I just use the two sides. So we're going to do that. So first what we're going to do is we're going to get the glue gun. We're going to add a little bit of glue right inside there. The camera does snap in, it stays in place, but if you hit a large bump, it will tend to move a little bit. And then I'm going to put a little piece of double-sided sticky tape right there to hold the VTX in place. So let me grab those. Alright, so as I was waiting for the glue gun to heat up, I went ahead and connected up all my motors to the board. And so what we're going to do now is, like I said, I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the camera, or to the plastic where the camera sits down in, just to make sure it doesn't move. So You don't have to do that, but I like to do that. That's my own personal preference. I know it adds a little bit of weight, but at the same time, my camera doesn't flop around. There we go. Okay. And fit our camera right in there. Make sure we get the right angle. You can adjust the angle just a little bit, not too much. There we go. Okay. So camera is seated. Looks like my glue is nice and good. Alright, so now I'm going to get a little piece of double-sided sticky tape, and that way I can fit that VTX right down in there. So let me grab that and be right back. Alright, so we got our double-sided sticky tape, and I'm just going to push this right down in here. Got to be careful with these little cables in here, especially on the camera, because if you push them too hard, it can. I've seen it to where it causes the camera to not have video. For some really weird reason. I don't know why, but I think it's just because the cables get. Make sure I can get to that button. Yep, I can still get to the button. Okay, so now that we've got that done, let me power this on real quick again. Just want to make sure I still have good video. Like I said, sometimes the cables coming off of the actual camera, they still got power, and I still have video. Good. Okay, perfect. All right. So now let me grab my my canopy. We still have to bind this to the radio, so we'll get to that in just a few seconds. But let me put this on here. I'm just going to put a couple screws. I'm going to see if this canopy fits. If it does, I'll use this. If not, then I'll just have to use one of the plain white ones, and then I'll color it whatever I decide. And there we go. So it was a little bit of a tight fit, but I got it, and I can still get to the button and access it on the side over there, which is good. I can see all the lights from the inside, so that's what you need to be able to set your channel. And angle of the camera is good, so it should be good there. And yeah, so there we go. All right, so now I'm going to get my my radio, and I'm going to go ahead and get this set up to run on here. Luckily, it's pretty easy because I have all my other Quicksilvers already set on the radio, so all I have to do is just copy the model and then just bind it to the radio. So give me just a second and I'll be right back. Alright, so the way you bind this board is a little bit weird on Quicksilver. It's not typical, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it in first, wait about a second, I'm going to hold down the bind button, then after I hold down the bind button, it's going to kind of flash really quickly, and then I'll hit bind on the radio, and then we'll do up, up, up to make sure it confirms the bind, and then down, down, down to make sure that it goes into auto bind. That's how silverware works, basically. So, all right, let's get this ball on the roll. All right, so we're lit up. So I'm going to hold the bind button down for 2 seconds. And you can kind of see it's flashing very quickly. So now I'm going to go over to the radio, and we're going to hit bind. And you can see that it kind of flashes like that. Not usual. Usually what happens is it stays like solid green, but that's not how silverware works. Alright, so next what we're going to do is we're going to do, on the right stick, we're going to do up, 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 and then what happens, you didn't see it, but it flashes one time, confirms, and then we're going to do down, 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 and then it goes doot, 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 flashes a couple times, and that means that it is in auto bind mode once the flight controller boots up. So let's go ahead and unplug it, and let's go ahead and plug it back in. We'll give it a second to bind here. So you can see now I have the normal solid green like you would normally see. And there we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and put the battery in correctly. And I've got to get a longer one of these. I'll put a 90-degree on it. I didn't have any, so I will put the 90-degree on there. Alright, so let's hope I got the motors in the right direction. If not, I can always change it. Nope, motors are not in the right direction. So let's see. So that's... Alright, so what do we got here? So this should be spinning right, this should be spinning right, this should be spinning left and left because it's props out. So let's see how they're spinning. Oh, okay. So that's super simple. No biggie. So yeah. Just make sure. I just need to reverse the motors on all of them. So sometimes that happens. No biggie. I think these stock boards, they're set up for props in like usual. So I'm just going to go in here really quick, guys. And what's nice also about the Quicksilver configurator is that it has its own built-in BL heli. So you can move the motors around, which is really, really cool. Alright, so choose the right COM port. And we'll go to our motors and front left. We have to go to... There we go. Okay, so front left. I'm going to go reversed, back right, reversed. Everything has to be reversed. Alright, apply, disconnect. Alright. So now let's plug another battery in, and before I try and fly it, make sure everything is spinning correctly.
Relax. It's just a bunch of ones and zeros out there. You're gonna be fine. Oh boy. What's the opposite?
Spinning right, spinning left, spinning left. Alright, sweet. So that was a quick and easy fix. Alright, and now the official little hover test for you guys here. And alright, so we got our battery in. Let's test it. Oh, there it goes. Sorry, I gotta wait for the flight controller. There we go. Okay. Alright. There we go. We're good to go. We have our Quicksilver build completed. So that's what it looks like. So it's all good to go. So I'll probably fly it around the house a couple times, make sure it's good to go. I've already got my tune in here that I like. I have a specific tune that I use. Travis NFE helped me to program it to the way I like it, the way I like it to fly. So thank you to him as always. So yeah, I might get maybe some red props or something different. I don't know. We'll see. So Thanks guys for tuning in. Thanks for watching the video. And as always, while you're waiting for my next video, let's keep our drones up in the air, flying high. I'll talk to you guys later. Have an awesome day.